Good morning, Digital Davos community. Well, it's morning for us, but it's great to see you again. This is Digital Davos. My name is Fernando Garibay, as part of a collaborator of the Digital Davos community, and my company is the Garibay Institute, in which we teach creativity as a skill. And we wanted to give you an opener to today and share our experiences and the good times we had so far with extraordinary speakers. And this is my co-host, Annika.
Hi, my name is Annika. I'm a filmmaker and storyteller. I come from the writing side, but I also used to have my own radio show early on in my life, 13 to 15. So I got a very healthy love for journalism and research, and that's usually what my stories focus on as well. And yes, we are talking about Davos and how lovely it's been to get some prolific speakers on these panels.
Do you want to talk about a little bit about today's panels and the panelists and what we have coming up today?
Absolutely. I'm genuinely excited for the first one. It's going to be about sports, business in sports, and how the entertainment storytelling aspect of it factors into it and into ROIs and finance models, how it's changed from traditional business.
You know, we were asked today what's really inspiring about actually in the past couple of days, what the Davos platform, digital Davos platform in general, and it's a great opportunity to showcase what's new in the ethos of thought, what's new in the ethos of business, culture, and finance, and beyond, in the multiple disciplinary perspective. What's exciting for me is this idea of, as we, AI seemed to be a theme, crypto and decentralized DeFi financial tools, especially for disenfranchised and marginalized communities, perhaps, particularly for rethinking the fiat in finance and how decentralized finance can be instrumental to developing and emerging communities. So what's also really exciting for me is the idea of, to AI and the singularity point that we are now, and we'd have multiple singularity points, such as the equivalency of currently a high school graduate education and Chat GPT and OpenAI, and then evolving to a college graduate, and these simple comparisons that we have. But it's kind of what we have right now to understand AI in a simpler, something we can grasp a little more fundamentally. But specifically for me is obviously creativity as the next construct of our evolution, and it's a subtleness to the interest that I've seen in these panels, right? Such as creativity under the guise of an externality of our output, creativity and instinct as an externality of our output, and then consciousness as an externality of our output. And that's super fascinating, because as AI gets to this point where it can do traditional logic, not even simple, now it's traditional logic, can outperform us and the human brain in that way, what's left for us, right? And in other words, what makes us human is what's going to be our ultimate advantage, to think of AI as a collaborative tool. And what's exciting about that idea is someone like Caroline Cory, right?
Yes.
So Caroline Cory is really fascinating. She is the prominent spiritual consciousness leader and teaches meditation, and through her documentaries like Superhuman helps us think, and that is specifically it. Superhuman, right? It helps us think about ourselves beyond, traditional output, such as we learn as much information as we can, acquisition, and then we express it through our hopefully career or lifestyle. But what Caroline suggests here with Superhuman is that we're beyond that we're interconnected, and there is a sort of mind mastery that helps us connect all these disciplines and our experiences together to perform.
Right. And it's meditation in and of itself. A lot of you guys already know this as high performers, gets us back into our body and connects us to the present moment, right? Everybody that says, I have too little time, needs meditation specifically to address things like anxiety, fear, PTSD, really anything. Do some breath work, get back in their body and realize how to focus, how to love themselves, how to be grateful, any and all of these things. And Caroline's the master of it.
So, and then what's also really interesting is when I think about, so meditation is nothing new now, right? So it's been, with the help of the wellness movement and the mindfulness movement, there has been, I think, some more innovative work on this idea of consciousness. Now, so without getting into the interpretation of what is consciousness, because that's has there's a sense of a connotation of spirituality, there's a connotation of maybe some mysticism. But I love the way Caroline suggests, like, spirituality is connectiveness, right? And also it's goes beyond that, in a sense, how important it is to understand what sensing and sensitivity and a deeper intuition instinct is, right?
Knowledge.
Right. On a very nuanced level.
Right.
Right. And some would say wisdom, right? So the synthesis of knowledge, right? And that's what I love about what we're going to talk about. And we're going to welcome Caroline now, Caroline Cory, and help us walk through consciousness and spirituality. And then she will gift us with the meditation as well. Thank you, Caroline Cory, for joining us. What are your thoughts? I'm going to throw you right in with sharing about how Superhuman is changing perspective, your documentary, and as well as your interpretation and practice of spirituality and consciousness.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I think I popped in by error a little bit earlier. I apologize. I can barely hear you. Do you guys hear me well?
Oh,
Yes,
perfect. Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're very, very low. I'm having to, and I don't know how my speakers are up all the way. So
It's a great. You sound fantastic. So we're gonna let you continue. But we asked consciousness, your interpretation, your work on with Superhuman, your documentary. It's all over the place, which is great in the sense of it's everywhere. What is your interpretation of spirituality and consciousness? And then tell us about your practice and how you're going to gift the community with another great meditation.
Yes, to me, consciousness is not just the fact of we are conscious of something, of reality. To me, it's much more profound. My interpretation, my definition of consciousness is that it is the substance. It's a fundamental substance from which emerges everything, all of life, all of aspects of life. So from that fundamental substance, you see the physical world, you see intelligent life, you see everything emerge. And so because of that, because we are all connected by this fundamental substance, it's not just an idea of when we talk about oneness and being connected through quantum mechanics. It's literally we are made of the same substance at the base, you see. And so that's why it is so important when we are communicating what we are, when we want to create something in the outside world, to create it from the inside. In other words, if my inside is chaotic, if I'm full of confusion or fear or anger, then because of this connectivity, I'm going to create the same thing outside of myself, you see. And so I'm going to reflect everything that I think, say, or do in the outside world. And so when we are trying to create something through business, through collaboration, we really need to check where we are on the inside. So that's why meditation is just so important.
It's fantastic. We think about, these, academia has trends like anything else, right? Academia is, and the ethos of thought, there's trends, right? So I would say 10 years ago, 12 years ago, there was this movement, a wellness movement. Prior to wellness movement, there was a positive psychology, positive movement. And now we're in the space where consciousness is no longer so esoteric, but rather it's actually readily more accepted in the academic institutions, which gives us a litmus towards it being adopted by the mass, right? And so this is great because it gives us another tool to think about our existence, another tool to think about our creativity and our output. So how I want to talk, this is really fascinating because when you and I met, we were talking about how challenging it must have been your work, your research, and your practice and with consciousness. And how do you, the challenges of articulating it to, being first in show, first in in promoting this idea of that we're all interconnected for the West, right? And this is there's and not to be confused, there were movements in the 60s, 70s of Eastern mysticism, but this goes beyond that, and this is leveraging science, leveraging Western science, I should say, right? And then combining it with also Eastern philosophy and what different religions have known for understood, I should say, for thousands of years. What were your challenges with when you first started talking about consciousness?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you talked about consciousness or yoga or meditation, it used to be, kind of fringe or this new age woo-woo concept. But now it's more about who you really are, trying to understand who you are as a being, as a consciousness. And it's related to your purpose. Like, why are we here? Isn't that the purpose of our incarnation? To figure out who we are and what we are here to do. So now when you talk about consciousness, it's a lot more mainstream. But what I've done also to bring more credibility, I want to say, to the subject, is I started working with scientists. In fact, that's the topic of most of my films, is to validate the concept that when we say we are interconnected, we are one. How do you demonstrate that? And so I started working with scientists, from physicists to biology and from different disciplines. And, these guys, if you really look around, there are a lot of articles and experiments that have been done in the field. And so what we've done in the movie, for example, Superhuman, we demonstrate how the mind is connected to something outside of yourself, you see. And so when you see that sort of validation on the screen, it's live, it's being recorded, you start to really not just imagine of this concept, this theory out there, but you start to feel it like, oh my God, when I have this thought, it actually has an effect on the physical world. So for example, we've done experiments to demonstrate that when you focus on water, for example, in a laboratory setting, you can literally, through your intention, change the chemistry of the water, change the pH, have it to go up or down. Just think about that. Our bodies are made mostly of water. So if you can do that in a bottle that's sitting in front of you and you can change the chemistry, everybody knows that having an alkaline body is healthier. And so if you can do that in a bottle of water that's sitting in front of you, then you can do it to your body. Just think about that. The impact that this can have on your understanding of your power, of who you are and how you can change yourself, not just in physical health, but in mental health, in spiritual health, energetic health, you see.
Yeah.
And so doing these sorts of experiments in laboratory settings has brought a lot of validation, a lot of acceptance that this is not some, strange woo-woo theory out there, but this is who we really are. And I think that's what's changed, and that's so important.
Caroline, when we first spoke, I personally like to keep such an open mind that sometimes I fear my brain will fall off, right? But at the same time, when we spoke, I was like, it's very uncomfortable, but in a great way, right? But I practice at this, right? I practice at keeping an open mind and not letting my biases or the power of suggestibility get in the way of my logic, right? But really weird coincidental stuff was happening that goes beyond coincidence, right? So there's this idea of the power of three, right? In understanding the inconsistencies with human speech, right? Or lying or fallacies in human behavior, right? when we met, I was already immediately that same day started my research on people like Dean Radin, right, who is like the father of analytical and academic research in consciousness, right, arguably. And there's quite a few people, and it's so funny that we interconnected, and that's when we met. And I find it really, really interesting that this idea of there are essentially, in what you described, of a deeper intuition to our existence, right?
Mhm.
And in the community of consciousness and the research, there's this term called being sensitive, right? Or asensitive, right? A noun, asensitive, right? An individual who can sense beyond, and this is beyond hypersensitivity syndrome. This is a actual essence of a person, right? And it's really fascinating. But I don't want to take away the time of the community, because you have a gift. You want to showcase your meditation practice, and as well as also perhaps point people to the direction of your space on the digital domain, and share your meditation practices for the world.
I want to do that, but just real quick, I want to answer your question because it's so, so important. What you're talking about is the subconscious versus the conscious. You see, when we feel uncomfortable, it's because some things are coming up for us. We don't know from where. We just feel uncomfortable. So what's happening is that our conscious mind is saying, I want to create change in the world. I want to do this. I have this vision for this project. I want to project light and love and this and that. But then our subconscious mind that contains all the patterns, the struggles we've had growing up. This is where we keep all of our subconscious negative patterns. For example, I'm not good enough, or there's too much competition, or am I really going to succeed? We're not really conscious of all these thoughts and patterns, you see. But at the same time, the universe doesn't see the difference between conscious thought and subconscious thought. And so on one hand, we are saying, I want to create this positive change in the world, but at the same time, our subconscious is projecting the thought, maybe this is not going to work, you see. So that's where we feel uncomfortable. We're triggering these two conflicting thoughts. And so the meditation is going to help you, or becoming an empath. You mentioned empath being intuitive or sensitive. It's going to help you sense what is in your subconscious that's holding you back, so that you can bring it up, so that you can clear it, so that you can create perfect alignment between what you say and what you project and what's going to manifest. That's the idea. That's the benefit of meditation. So that's why right now I'm going to lead a short meditation, maybe 5-10 minutes. But I think if people could really take this seriously, not Monday through Friday, I'm going to dedicate my life to work, and then on Saturday I'll go do yoga or meditation or go to church, and then I'll start over that routine. It doesn't work this way, because Monday through Friday is still you. It's still you projecting all your patterns, all your fears, you see, and it doesn't get fixed on the weekend. So that's the idea of allowing yourself this 10-minute protocol routine, perhaps in the morning, and just bring up everything that's uncomfortable, let it out, align your energy properly, and then set your intention for the day.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Thank you.
Caroline, thank you for that. It's very articulate. We appreciate you, and we'll let you kick it off and continue with the meditation.
And please mention your website so that everybody can absolutely access that once again.
yes, so they can find this meditation. Actually, it's called Connecting to Source, and there are many others. I've been teaching for 20 years, so there's a huge library. On my website, Caroline Cory, without an E, CORY.com, and then people can find a lot of free things there to practice every day. Okay, let's do it. Here we go. Sit up straight with your feet flat on the floor. and close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath. Exhale through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep, deep breath. As you exhale through the mouth, relax. Let go of the tension in your shoulders, your arms, your neck, your face muscles. Just relax. And again, deep breath in through the nose. Deep, deep breath. Exhale through the mouth. Each time you exhale, relax. Quiet your thoughts. Quiet your mind. Bring your focus to your heart. To this moment in time. Say quietly in your mind, I ask and intend to create a sacred space. I ask to let go of all the distracting thoughts, distracting energy, and distracting information. My intent is to align my energy, my mind, my consciousness, and my heart with the energy of light, of the source of unconditional love. Breathe in through the nose, deep, deep breath. As you exhale through the mouth, from the heart, expand 360 degrees. Put yourself in a sphere of light. Focus on a point behind your navel and ask for all the physical tension, the physical patterns, the misaligned energy in your physical body to come out. Through this point, just things, you feel things come out in your space around you. Focus on these uncomfortable, misaligned patterns, whatever they may be, and say, I ask to release all of my unconscious physical patterns from every cell in my body. Breathe in through the nose, deep, deep, deep breath. As you exhale through the mouth, imagine that all of these energies are being purged. Imagine they just dissolve and they come out of your sacred space, they're just purged. Bring your focus to the thymus gland just behind your heart. Focus on all the emotions, the feelings that may be misaligned. For example, competition, fear, lack of confidence. Doesn't matter, just allow all the misaligned emotional patterns that are subconscious to you, unconscious. Bring them up. Begin to feel these clusters of energy around your heart. And say, I ask and intend to dissolve, to delete all my emotional, subconscious blocks. Breathe in through the nose. As you exhale through the mouth, imagine all of these energies are just dissolving. Purge them, push them outside your heart, outside your sacred space, and they just dissolve. Bring your focus to the center of your brain. And now, ask to bring up all the mind chatter, all the unconscious thoughts that are distracting, that are misaligned, that keep you from succeeding, from evolving, whatever they may be. Bring that up. Imagine those patterns around your head. And say, I ask to release all my unconscious mental blocks and patterns. Breathe in through the nose. As you exhale through the mouth, from the center of your brain, purge all of these mental imbalances. And now visualize a bright, bright white light. Coming through your head and into your entire body, filling your entire body. Focus on your heart and say, I intend to bring light and unconditional love into my physical being and out into the world. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Visualize on emanating this light. Hold this light in your heart and go about your day. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes.
Caroline, thank you so much for the meditation. We appreciate it. We do unfortunately have to wrap you up and go right into the next panel. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.